With Love, Meghan dropped on Netflix and was quickly slammed as nauseating and cringe, earning just an 11% viewer rating, falling behind even wrestling and sitcoms. Meghan also posted a bizarre video that many found painfully awkward. In it, she mocks royal traditions, including curtsying to the Queen, comparing it to a medieval times performance. Viewers were shocked. Harry looked uncomfortable, forcing a nervous laugh. "Pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty." Many saw it as blatant mockery of the royal family, and for some, it marked the point her public image collapsed for good. Critics called it a failed attempt at satire that backfired, leaving Meghan's reputation in tatters. Just 100 minutes after a major royal revelation, Netflix and the Sussexes suddenly decide to promote With Love, Meghan, a show not airing until December. And it's not going well. Meghan Markle is back in the headlines, and not for good reason. Netflix has launched an internal investigation into the series after poor reception, and things are getting messy fast. Executives are reportedly distancing themselves, offering no public support. Since the flop, critics have questioned the show's purpose and audience, some saying it feels like a vanity project. The timing, the silence from Netflix, and the desperate promotion efforts are raising eyebrows. Some see it as an attempt to stay relevant amidst other royal drama. Others are calling the Sussexes tone-deaf and self-absorbed. Adding to the awkwardness, each episode credits Meghan as Duchess of Sussex, a move many find pretentious. Viewers aren't connecting, reviews are harsh, and what was meant to be a comeback now looks dangerously close to a meltdown. Things are spiraling fast for Meghan Markle. This isn't just online chatter. Netflix has reportedly launched a full-scale investigation into her show With Love, Meghan. And it's not just about low ratings anymore, it's about plagiarism. Sources say Meghan's show copied entire scenes, lines, and gestures from Hell's Kitchen, Jersey Shore, Survivor, and Pamela's Cooking with Love. Episode 4 allegedly mimicked a heated Hell's Kitchen scene almost word for word, and by episode 7, the show began resembling Jersey Shore, from cast behavior to camera style. Critics are torn. Some say the show flopped because it lacked originality. Others claim viewers just don't like Meghan. But with plagiarism now in the spotlight, this controversy goes far beyond bad reviews. Netflix realized something was off. A beach scene from Meghan's show looked nearly identical to a moment from Survivor. Same setup, pacing, even lines. The creative team halted production and called for an investigation. Meghan claimed it was all a misunderstanding, saying the similarities were just inspiration from shows she loved growing up. But Netflix wasn't convinced, especially after a side-by-side comparison that looked like a near replica. Internally, chaos erupted. Co-CEO Ted Sarandos still supports Meghan, hoping the controversy might boost views. But Greg Peters wants out. He opposed Season 2 and is now trying to cancel Season 3 entirely. Production is a mess. Scenes are being cut, episodes rewritten, and what was supposed to be a quick reshoot has stretched into a grueling 7-week ordeal. Morale is low, crew exhausted, and cast members are quietly pulling back. No one knows what will even make it to air. Meanwhile, Meghan is laser-focused on appearing perfect, but critics say that obsession is hurting her authenticity. One scene of her struggling to chop garlic with a paring knife became symbolic, polished on the surface, but missing the real, relatable moments viewers want. Where's the guidance for Meghan? Something as simple as, "Hey, just boil water on camera so it looks like you know what you're doing." Instead, it's giving new housewife in a mansion she can't afford, clueless and out of place. Worse, it's hurting her reputation. Amazon and MGM are backing off, HBO won't return calls, and studios once interested are now avoiding the chaos. Hollywood is watching Netflix fumble this, and no one wants that drama on their hands. With doors closing, Meghan is trying to go solo, funding her own podcast reboot and even floating a reality show. But even those are stalling. Streaming platforms are rejecting pitches outright, with one exec reportedly saying, "We don't want the drama." Even her most loyal fans are stepping back. Season 1 disappointed, plagiarism rumors are swirling, and her defensive attitude isn't helping. Social media's turning on her fast. And now she's copying Jersey Shore? In 2025? It's giving microwave popcorn from a Pinterest board. Meanwhile, Daniel just wants peanut butter pretzels. Meghan Markle carefully labeled a bag of peanut butter pretzels, his favorite snack, just in case of allergies. But while she fussed over snacks, bigger problems were brewing at Netflix. The platform is facing backlash, not just over Meghan's flop with Love, Meghan, but due to rising prices, vanishing shows, and failing originals. Subscribers are frustrated, and the Meghan scandal is dominating headlines at the worst possible time. Behind the scenes, Netflix CEO Greg Peters is reportedly saying, "I told you so." He warned about this months ago and is now leading damage control. Cut ties, avoid lawsuits, and protect the brand. Meanwhile, Ted Sarandos is clinging to hope, trying to spin a comeback or at least viral traction. But the internal tug-of-war is pulling the project apart. With Love, Meghan is quickly becoming a cautionary tale for celebrity-led content. If the reshoots flop or more plagiarism claims surface, Meghan's Hollywood run could be over. No deals, no contracts, no goodwill. Netflix tried to bury the drama, but leaks started quickly. Editors, assistants, and insiders began whispering to blogs. One word keeps surfacing: plagiarism. A source revealed Netflix told editors to re-watch with Love, Meghan and compare it to top reality shows, work that usually takes weeks, rushed in just days. Behind the scenes, chaos erupted. Meghan was reportedly panicking. Her team urged her to stay quiet, but silence isn't her style. Instead, she allegedly sent furious messages to Netflix staff, demanding answers and threatening to pull her name from the project altogether. She even considered rebranding it under her own production company. Her PR team scrambled to defend her, framing Meghan as a creative visionary, not a copycat. But Netflix's legal team wasn't convinced, especially after spotting a cooking segment that appeared nearly identical to Pamela's Cooking with Love, right down to the dish names and dialogue. That was the final straw. CEO Greg Peters reportedly shut it down. No season 3, no meetings, no pitches. Cut ties and move on. Ted Sarandos tried to salvage the partnership, but with reshoots draining budgets and leaked footage surfacing, it was too late. The damage was done. Netflix was already under fire for cracking down on password sharing, raising prices, and pulling fan-favorite shows. The last thing it needed was the Meghan Markle controversy adding to the chaos. Executives were panicking, not just about subscribers leaving, but about investors losing confidence. Another blow came with reports claiming with Love, Meghan had scenes copied from Real Housewives, making it look less like a misstep and more like a pattern. Meanwhile, Meghan felt betrayed. She reportedly stormed into production calls, furious that Netflix seemed to abandon her when things got rough. She accused the company of using her as a scapegoat and said the investigation was biased. Some insiders still supported her and suggested a quiet fix: re-edit the show, cut controversial scenes, and add disclaimers. But the damage was already done, and Meghan wasn't backing down. An easy fix? Not for Netflix CEO Greg Peters. Insiders say he quickly shut down any idea of soft-pedaling Meghan's failed show. He wanted a clean break. No excuses. No backtracking. Meanwhile, criticism of Meghan wasn't just professional. It turned personal. Some mocked her as out of touch, while others acknowledged the racism she faced. They wanted to know how brown the baby would be, one comedian said. Even black families do that. We check behind the ears. Still, navigating life as a black woman in a white royal family brought challenges. But public sympathy was fading. Outside Netflix, things were crumbling. Amazon rejected her podcast pitch. A planned docuseries stalled. Agents stopped calling. Industry insiders weren't just reacting to Meghan's work, they were watching how she handled the backlash. And it wasn't good. Fans began turning on her. Some said they felt misled. Others openly mocked her. TikTok was flooded with memes and viral parodies. Even her loyal supporters were being drowned out by the noise. Her jaw tightened, eyes darkened, and while chopping something, Meghan said, "You know it's so funny you say that. I'm Sussex now." It felt like a soap opera moment. She added, "I share my name with my children. It means so much, it's our little family name," taking what seemed like a subtle dig at the royals. At the end of each episode, the credit reads, "Starring Meghan, Duchess of." Despite backlash, Meghan believed she could turn things around. She began pitching a new reality show to small independent teams. No networks, no big studios, just her and a camera. But without Netflix or major backing, the climb ahead looked steep. Mount Everest steep. What started as a sleek Netflix series meant to give Meghan a shiny new image had turned into a total train wreck. A case study in what happens when celebrity power meets messy choices. And no one steps in early to say, "Hey, maybe don't do that." Then came her next move. Out of nowhere, Meghan dropped a self-recorded video on her own website. No Netflix branding, no flashy edits. Just her in a softly lit room speaking straight to the camera. The vibe. Serious but weirdly flat. She didn't say sorry. Instead, she doubled down again. She called the whole controversy overblown and said it was being pushed by people with personal agendas. Meghan insisted the industry always tries to tear down women who dare to think outside the box. She said this whole scandal was just another smear campaign led by, you guessed it, powerful men in suits. This is the precise moment it all went terribly wrong for Meghan Markle. How do you explain that you bow to your grandmother? It was like that, and that you will need to curtsy. Americans will understand this. We have medieval times dinner and tournament. Like, that's weird. Now I'm starting to realize this is a big deal. Like, I curtsied as though I was like, everyone knows this is bad. But this is still not the worst bit yet. Harry, looking down, probably doesn't know how to react. It's excruciatingly cringe-worthy. Harry squeezes out a nervous laugh. "Pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty." And if it wasn't clear enough already, at least in my view, that she was mocking the royal family and traditions at this point. This, in my view, was the point that her reputation crashed, perhaps irretrievably and forever. So the moment Meghan dropped that video, the internet exploded, and not in a good way. Critics didn't hold back. They said it felt scripted, cold, and totally out of touch. People were expecting honesty, maybe even a little humility. But what they got, a polished monologue that didn't land at all. And just when you thought it couldn't get any messier, boom. New unreleased footage from With Love. Meghan started making the rounds online. One clip in particular had jaws on the floor. It showed Meghan in a scene that looked nearly identical to a famous Real Housewives of Beverly Hills argument, like down to the dramatic wine toss. Yep, that wine toss. For a lot of people, that was it. Game over. Final straw. The media had a field day. Headlines were ruthless. Stuff like, Meghan doubles down while evidence piles up and Netflix scrambles as Meghan's scene goes viral again. YouTubers jumped in, breaking down the footage frame by frame like it was a true crime case. Twitter threads were popping off. Even late-night comedians joined the roast, with one joking she should start a spin-off called Borrowed with Meghan. Back at Netflix, the vibe absolutely tanked. What started as a big fancy prestige series was now being whispered about as a total disaster. Crew members started dipping out quietly, leaving the production. Some said it was just creative differences, but let's be real, we know what that means. Apparently, if you don't like Meghan Markle's cooking show and you think it's boring or stupid, that's because you don't like black people. And one columnist named Sarah Kelly, who writes for HelloBeautiful.com, said it's all about, wait for it, wait for it. Yes, indeed. How stupid do you have to be, truly, in order to believe that Americans will not watch black women on television presenting soft topics? Have you ever watched like one episode of Good Morning America? It's such a left-wing viewpoint. All this, every issue can be boiled down to, if you don't like what's happening, it's because you have a problem secretly. Your secret motivation is, I gotta be honest with you, I don't really like secret motivations. Usually, people's motivations are pretty open and obvious. If people said about Meghan Markle that they don't like interracial marriage, okay, but the idea is, I don't like watching her and her annoying friends make oils, scented candles or whatever, in the hills of Montecito after she married into wealth. Like, that's annoying to me. I don't understand what that has to do with race. The reshoots were a nightmare too. Finding new people to step in under all this spotlight? Nearly impossible. More than one director said, no thanks, worried their name would get dragged through the mud too. Things got so serious that Netflix had to bring in outside legal experts. The big question wasn't just, did Meghan copy scenes? It was, are we about to get sued over this? If shows like Hell's Kitchen or MTV's Jersey Shore wanted to file lawsuits, it could cost Netflix millions, not to mention the damage to their brand. Nobody wants to be known as the platform that aired a rip-off show. And let's talk about money for a second. This show? Not cheap. Between celebrity guests, elaborate sets, and now a whole new round of reshoots, the budget was way over what they planned. Some insiders said they didn't think the show would even make back half of what it cost. So now, a few executives were ready to pull the plug, scrap the whole season before it aired, and just walk away. At that point, it might have been the smartest move. But of course, Meghan wasn't done. Nope. She went public with another big announcement. She said she's launching her own content studio, backed by private investors and, get this, some of her own money. According to Meghan, the goal is to give voices to the unheard and redefine what it means to be real on screen. Her first rumored project? A docu-series about pushing through public adversity, starring herself. Yep, you heard that right. The internet couldn't believe it. People said it felt like a parody, like she was making a show about surviving backlash right after getting called out for copying. Critics joked that Meghan must be living in an echo chamber, surrounded by yes-men too scared to be real with her. At this point, it's giving main character syndrome, and the audience isn't having it. According to someone close to Meghan's team, there were warnings early on. Multiple staffers apparently flagged that some of the scenes felt a little too familiar, like they were lifted from other reality shows. But Meghan? She wasn't worried. That insider said she believed she was reframing pop culture through a royal lens and thought the similarities were part of the vision, not a problem. To them, it looked like a pattern, dodging accountability, shifting the blame, and always playing the victim. And that image, it started to stick hard. Eventually, Netflix made their move. No press release, no splashy headlines, just silence. They quietly pulled with Love, Meghan Season 2 from their release schedule. All the promos disappeared. When asked, reps simply said they were re-evaluating future projects. And just like that, what was once one of the biggest celebrity streaming deals ended not with a bang, but with a whisper. No court battle, no dramatic exit. Just a slow fade into nothing. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more updates.